Welcome back. Welcome. You've returned. It's Relationships at Work, the leadership mindset guide to creating a workplace we love. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher. I am a communications and leadership nerd with a couple of decades of experience and a whole heap of curiosity on how we can make the workplace a better place. If you're a leader trying to understand and improve your impact on work culture and the employee experience, well, I have some great news for you. You are in the right place. This is once again a mini episode. Every Thursday, I drop an under 10-minute episode to help you shift your mindset. Just a little quick and valuable bit of information to prepare you for the week ahead. This week's episode, testing the quality of those work relationships. I saw this question recently. Would you tell your manager if you were looking for a new job? Oh, that got my brain thinking. So I came across this question recently on Instagram and thought it was an interesting one. It had me thinking about what's behind a question like this. What kind of litmus test is this for psychological safety, leadership, quality of relationships? And what are people's thoughts and experiences with this? So I asked. I reached out on Threads. I am really enjoying Threads right now, by the way. Just really enjoying the quality of the conversations. But I digress. I asked that very question, and the answers were mostly pretty sad. I got a lot of nevers. Never would I tell my manager if I was looking for a new job, or absolutely not. And some of those came from HR professionals. They know, obviously, the culture of their organization and what the quality of those relationships are for them. Some of the stories included, well, one gave their executive the heads up, asking for any change that might allow employees like themselves to see the next step in their career path. So they're basically going, hey, I could leave, but here's the things that I need to stay. And if you make these changes, I bet it will have resounding effects on others that come after me or my colleagues if you just make these changes. And it'll help me actually figure out what my next step is in my career path, my succession planning, as it were. The exec said, nope, I'm not doing that. They pretty much just challenged him to leave. So he did. One of the people that I asked was considered unloyal when they did share they were looking for something with better pay. Another did tell their boss, hoping for a smooth exit to help with this knowledge transfer. Hey, I want to help the person that's replacing me. So again, they told their boss. They were fired 2 days later. And this was in an organization that called themselves a people-first company. How's this for a quote from some of the conversations I have? I have decades of HR up to the VP level. Nobody at your job is your friend, and culture is a myth. Relationships are transactional. I'm so sad inside. Some other factors that came up. People said they were more likely to share for internal because their boss would find out anyway. Well, another had a company policy that actually required them to notify their current manager if they applied internally so HR could follow up. I was really curious as to what HR was following up on or with. They also said relationships with the boss did come up in that it was key, and same with the culture of the organization. But generally, lots of negatives, lots of nevers. Now, sure, every situation is different, but this was very overwhelmingly not a chance in hell. One HR person even recommended to dress nicer more frequently so it's not odd when you dress up for a job interview, so you won't look suspicious. It's become a game at some organizations. What is going on? Where the hell do we work? Why is there such a lack of leadership in this area? Why is there such a lack of psychological safety? This is a failure of leadership. For me personally, I've had staff that applied to internal and external positions. They told me about it weeks and months in advance. And you know what I did? I helped them in any way that I could because their success was important to me, regardless of where it was. At a personal level, I wanted them to succeed. And if they get better opportunities, better challenges to work on, better pay elsewhere, why wouldn't I help them? I don't understand. If we're talking humans are important, then it doesn't matter that they're leaving. It doesn't matter that they're going external. It doesn't matter at all. If you have that relationship that's healthy, it shouldn't matter at all. They're a colleague. They're a human being, not a commodity. Maybe they'll get great experience somewhere. And because they had such an amazing relationship with you, they'll return to the organization. If they leave on good terms, it's called a boomerang employee, where they leave and come back because it wasn't better somewhere else. It was better because you showed them it was better. So if you can imagine, my heart broke reading these responses and knowing these were the cultures that we need to fix. Now, there were a few positives, let's be fair. Most would tell their bosses, but only after they applied. One manager said that when they were told somebody was leaving, they kept it confidential because they were trying to protect that employee from any sort of retribution the organization might have for that person leaving. And the manager tried to plan ahead for workload changes. It gave them time to do that. They said they tried to make sure they were okay in the meantime. That makes a lot of sense. It may have been a bad situation, but it was something they could try to head off. So if we give our bosses some of that lead time, they can adjust accordingly. Another had some amazing insight. They said they always told their boss, absolutely all the time. If they were going to apply for another job, external or internal, they told them because higher ups were always scouting for talent. And if they hear you're looking, doors actually opened. So it wasn't even applying for a job. It was just the idea that they might apply for a job that was enticing for other opportunities. That sounds amazing. So when would you tell your manager? I think it goes without saying. If you have a strong working relationship, if you have a particularly open and trustworthy relationship with your manager where you feel comfortable discussing your career aspirations and goals, your manager actually could be an ally, sharing advice, mentoring you, helping you, pointing out where you can work on things and where you should avoid things. They can be an amazing ally. Also, it's about transferring or promotional opportunities. If you believe that your manager could help facilitate your job search by recommending you for other positions or promotions within the organization, it might be a great idea to share your intentions. But again, it gets back to quality of the relationship. When would you not tell your manager? Well, number one is risk of retaliation. In some organizations or situations, disclosing your intent to leave might lead to less than ideal circumstances. You could be fired, as I gave an example earlier. You could be marginalized, feel undervalued in your role. Maybe you don't get that job you applied for, and then you just sit there and take whatever they throw at you because they think, again, you're a commodity, not a person. Also, uncertainty might be a reason you do not tell your manager. Job searches can be lengthy. They can be uncertain processes. So telling your manager maybe a little too soon might create some unnecessary tension or uncertainty at your current job. That could actually negatively affect your performance and your relationships. The feedback that I heard when I reached out to our community definitely highlight how that can happen in both of those situations. So to recap, if it's a bad or indifferent boss, do not tell them. If it's a leader who has supported your development and career path and sees you as a team member on a journey in your career, yes, you should, or you can. What a lot of leaders need to understand is if we want honesty, trust, transparency from our teams, like we say we want on the posters, we need to model it and welcome it in the workplace. If staff don't feel safe to tell us that they're looking for a new job, that is actually on us for not creating a safe space. So if we notice team members are leaving and it always comes as a shock to us, that is a pretty good sign we're not being the leader we need to be. So be the leader we need. That's it. That's all. That'll do it. Another episode of Relationships at Work. Mini episode, mind you. It is the leadership mindset guide for creating a workplace we love. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like the words that are coming out of my mouth and maybe you want to get ahead of these mini episodes, I recommend you sign up for Raw Notes. It's my weekly newsletter over on my site. You can do that through the free interview tools that I offer, free employee interview tools, onboarding, Thrive interviews, exit interviews. If you want one of those free tools and you want to sign up for the newsletter, guess what? You can do both and it's all free. Just go to relationshipsatwork.ca or russellolacher.com. You'll see it right at the top of the screen. Love to have you sign up. All right, take care of yourself and we'll talk again soon.